good. All right. We are in the studio at Beat City Music today, and we're joined with Colleen, Connelly, and Dylan Snyder. They're here to talk with us about their journey, their time as, entrepreneurs, their time as, I was going to say business owners, but that's the same fucking thing. Time as musicians, their time cultivating music and arts in the local area of Olean, New York. So,
thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us. Colleen, I've known you. You're like my other mother. So,
True.
She's everyone's other mother.
She kind of is.
Yeah, she really is.
If you're kind of like a musician in Olean, Connie's kind of your mom.
Music
At
mom.
least if you're...
Music mom.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think I'm just born a mother. I'm meant to mother people.
Yeah.
Remind you that you should be eating better and taking care of yourself. And
This isn't about me.
All the things a good musician doesn't do.
Let's talk about this, Steven.
This is why we brought you here.
This is an intervention. I hate salary.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Joke's on you, Steve. Oh, jeez.
I'll do a little bit then. I'm not part of this. I don't come in here often, so my knowledge of it's kind of just passerby and what I hear from these two. So how did you two start this? Why did you start this? Olean isn't exactly an economic hub of Western New York, so why here?
Well, that's where we're at. No, it's more of like we were all kind of at our wits' end of like our jobs. Of I was working at. I mean, we're all in a band together for a while, but I was working retail at a deli, and she was selling meat to that same place through the what was it called?
Olean Wholesale.
Yeah, wholesale place.
Oh yeah.
Before that closed down.
Right. So, and we were just like, once, how
The
did
local music shop was closing.
Right.
We need a music store in Olean, and we're just like at band practice. We're like, hey, let's open a music store. We decided on it, and we decided we would each put in $2,000 like on our credit cards to get it started. And we
And at this time, we had the whole band, so there was 4 people on it. There was also her significant other, Drew, as well as Greg Carl, too. So it was 4 of us that all, $2,000 each put into it.
So
to just get a place and get a distributor and go.
And that was in Allegheny.
And that was originally in Allegheny.
Well, yeah, we were looking for a storefront, and there was a sign in that window. So I said, I'm going to call about this place because it looked like a cool place. And I called her, and I said, this is what we want to do and how much. And she said, well, $1,000 a month. And I'm like, no, we're looking for something like half that amount. And she said, okay, 500.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, so here we go.
Hard negotiator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
So we started, and, it didn't make us money.
Yeah, for probably 3 years, we didn't take any money.
Wow.
But we split up the hours. But Drew
Only a year or 2 of it was with them.
Yeah, they decided nah, they didn't want to put the time in for no payback. But
What made you two decide to push through it?
Because
who wants to sell meat their whole
we
life?
just didn't want to do literally anything else. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be, in a cubicle. I didn't want to, who wants to do that? I don't want to.
Like-
I would rather be poor and happy than have
You're here.
this jailed version of myself 8 hours a day and, have a nice car and stuff. But just, I can't do that. This is way of like, I'd rather struggle than be happy.
And I think it is the key to happiness. I think it's the key to happiness for anybody. Like, you got to do something that makes you happy and makes other people happy. You can't just worry about, what's in your 401 or when am I going to retire? But what are you doing right now to make the world better?
You don't take any of it with you.
Right. So it's there's a lot of things. I mean, that's my own philosophy, I'm 63 and I'm struggling, but I still don't want to change anything. I want to do this. And even if it doesn't make me a ton of money.
Because it's about
More than us. Yeah.
more than you, but also, what you're passionate about in life. I know that both of you live, breathe, eat music.
Yeah.
So, yeah, why would it be any other way?
Right,
How could
exactly,
you do it any other way?
I don't want to think about it. I don't want that was, I just.
So how many bands are you each in?
At the moment, I'm in. I would say like 3.5 because one of them only plays like a couple gigs a year. The Irish band.
Oh, okay. What are the names of those?
I'm in the Stick Tights with Connie. The Chumps with Whitney Riley. I'm in Bitter Coast. That's like my original band. And then the
We have something secret though that we're going to be cooking up.
Can you tell everyone about it?
No.
Minding that this is going to come out in like a couple weeks. On the 3rd.
On the 3rd, no.
We've dated it.
Dang it.
I don't even know what she's talking about.
It's a secret from you and me.
It's a secret for everyone.
It's what we were talking about. What that one bar owner said that we should be doing.
Oh, a new Irish band.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now the secret's out. New Irish band.
Damn.
Bigger, better one.
How much time on average does it take as a band member per week?
Anymore, not much.
Well, how
We
long,
got our practice in like
how long have you guys been in the Stick Tights together? Let's kind
10
of start
years.
with that. 10 years.
10 years, yeah. I imagine practice is pretty easy then.
It's not for me.
Ah, okay.
I mean, him and Greg and Drew work at a different level. I have to work hard. Like I have to really, really
So
practice to keep up with them. And I do.
And you play bass in the band.
Yes.
And so talk a little bit about that, because you didn't really play a whole lot of bass before you started playing with the Stick Tights, did you?
No.
You kind of picked that up for that band.
Well, no, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was. I mean, I was
you were picking around, but
I was playing guitar, and then it's like with so many bands, nobody wants to be the bass player. They all want to be showing
bass
off
player gets
with
all the chicks.
They just all guitar players. Everybody wants to be a guitar player, be out front, and so I'm just in the back, keeping them steady,
As you've always done.
laying down the canvas for them.
the bass.
Yeah.
Circling back, I know we're kind of jumping topics here, but you said 4 years without making any money. How many years have you guys had this place open?
We're going on 8, I think.
8 years. Wow.
2016.
Late 16. Or no,
So we're on 8. We've done
just
8
hit
years.
over 8, yeah.
Going into 9. Wow. Okay. So making money half the time.
What made you move to this location in Olean?
In November of 19? Or was it
What made us move?
Oh, I thought you said when.
It's because I think that I'm a smart business lady, and I said, Dylan, we need to buy a building
Yeah.
because then we're going to be rich.
How's that going for you?
Yeah. It is.
well.
I don't want to discourage people because I love Olean, but it's a different ball game when you have to pay taxes, like property taxes and
Especially on such a big building.
insurances for the whole building, and it's a struggle, but we keep our nose to the grindstone. We get our bills paid somehow by the skin of our teeth.
What are some of talk about those struggles a little bit? Why don't you? Because a lot of people around here, I'll go reset that camera in a sec. A lot of people around here have there's a very much a incubator mindset brewing in Olean right now. There's a new small business popping up every other week. However, they drop every other year too. So I feel like some some blatant honesty about how difficult it is to be an Olean right now and to run business could probably be useful to some people. So could you explore a little bit more on that?
I don't want to discourage anybody because
Not about discouraging. You're giving them wisdom that you learned along.
Well, here's the thing: we started a business with $8,000. That's
credit cards.
That's the thing. Is like you can do it.
Absolutely.
Like it's and it was it's a journey. When we started, we didn't have a lot of things. When we like instruments or and it just slowly built. And we were able to give up those hours of work there just for free, just to get to the where we could actually be paid some sort of money. But yeah, I mean it can be done, and definitely now at this point, from when we started, there's lots more help, like with those small business development stuff. That like there's a lot of it out there. And I think like we were even talking with what's his name?
Which one?
About the
Bob Fornes?
Yeah, Bob, about the getting like they're doing like a loan thing too.
Yeah, they do. They have a low interest rate loan.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of resources for small business, but I think anybody that has a dream to do something, be prepared to not get a huge payoff in the beginning and stick with it.
I mean, it's an uphill battle, especially
Right.
like going out on your own, especially when, we're doing it with credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's definitely stacking it against you.
Yeah, gambling itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just kind of hope that it pays off.
Yeah,
that you
it's
hit.
like, well, let's.
If you hit once, maybe that's enough, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm hearing the hopeful side that's saying if it's your dream and you're really passionate about
You gotta like it too.
it can get you through those rough patches.
Yeah, like you can't if we started a business about like a window for windows or something, like we wouldn't be here because we don't care. Like, but with music, like it's a whole different thing. So like we had that drive to stay there just because of the love of it. So
Even like we moved into this building in November of 2019. So, and then a few months later, we're shut down for COVID.
Yeah.
In our brand new building here,
Well, let's look into it because your brand new building needed a lot of work in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, we just had the store open in 2019.
yeah. So
And part of our deal with buying the building is that they would fix the second floor, which they got it. They did.
and we'll paint a picture for people who aren't familiar. So there's 3 floors technically,
Yep.
excluding the basement, and they needed a lot of work when you guys first
Still do?
moved in. Yeah, I mean, especially they do. They still need a lot of work. But what was it like developing the building over the process of a couple of years?
long,
Arduous, perhaps painful at times.
expensive. It was just once we had the second floor done, though, that was like obviously the third floor is half done. If people haven't seen that, it's half done. It needs the rest of it needs done, but the second floor was done when we originally moved in. This room, we're in the studio now. That was not, obviously, that was just a room. We used it for gatherings and whatnot. But at least I saw this room knowing that I wanted a studio originally when we were redoing it. So that's why like that glass was already put in there to split the rooms so that we could eventually do that. So that was nice. Like just small things like that. And just knowing Kevin helped a lot with that and just yeah.
And this was put in last year, right?
Couple years.
Yeah, well, last year fully, fully
Kind of
Yeah,
finished.
fully
finished.
at that
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
Well, what made you want to make a recording studio in specific?
My love of it, love of recording. Like just a mic nerd.
Yeah, when did that start?
I mean, I went to college for audio production. It started on Windows 95 audio recorders through karaoke mics plugged right into the computer. That's what, and just like I would, you know, I was in bands since, you know, I was like 13 with my friends. We all learned at the same time. We sounded like complete shit, and it's okay. Then we encourage every kid, and that's what we do here is like encourage every kid around here to, I want you to go make a shitty band. I don't care how bad it is.
Yep.
Make a shitty band and you learn from it. Like that, it's the most learning you could do musically is to be in a group with other people trying to do the same thing that you're doing. And that helps out so much. But yeah, I was, basically we were recording, you know, back to recording. We're putting karaoke mics in the room, finding where it sounds best, you know, like we had, cause you didn't have multi-tracking. Well, back you did, but it was thousands of dollars back then. So we just put it in random spots in the room, play a song, see where, you know, well, the guitar's too loud here, so let's move it away from there. And you just learn things like that, you know. And eventually I went to school for it and learned a little bit more. Learned a lot more after school too. But eventually I just got confident enough to where I could think I could, you know, record bands and do it. Hopefully we get more and more people in here. We just, you know, we got to get it out there. But
we applied for the Cattaraugus County Small Business Development, had the micro enterprise grants, and I think because of his degree in it, and we got the grant for all the equipment, you know, the mics and
yeah.
Yep, soundproofing.
What got you into music to the point where you were interested in the recordings?
Being in bands, like trying.
Oh, it was cyclical.
Kind of like because we're like, let's record. Like we should, you know, bands
We
record.
have a band. We suck. Let's record it.
Let's record it. Yeah.
We had a bunch of, we were 13, 14. We were making original songs, you know, at that time. They're not great, but they were original songs. And so we were like, we need to record this. And you know, and even then, like by the time I was like 16, 17, I had like, you know, pirated copies of recording programs, and like we had interfaces then. Like we started getting some better stuff over and over, like slowly learning what you needed to make things sound better. And so that just, you know, you being inquisitive about it and just you're like, what do I need to make this sound better? That's all. It was just a matter of looking it up, you know. Why does this sound bad? Why can't we, like, how do we separate all this stuff? How can I get drums by themselves, you know, stuff like that. So it's trial and error through many young years, you know.
Do you have anything out now that you've recorded in here?
In here?
Yeah.
I have Willie Clemens' album. Cattaraugus Creek.
Cattaraugus Creek has 2 cuts that were recorded in here.
And they're on Spotify now, too.
One of them is. I don't know if the second one is yet.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But I'm sure we're not dragging our feet on that for any reason.
Right. Yeah.
And you mixed your own that you recorded.
Yeah, I'm doing my own stuff right now. So just kind of trying to get my own like acoustic music out soon. So
you know, you're also working on your other bands.
And I'm working on my other band's album, Bitter Coast. And it's just, you know, everything takes a long time, you know, because we started during COVID and all of a sudden everyone's busy again. So, so it's a little harder to get together, but it's happening, you know, and slowly people are kind of trickling, and I'm doing some random things. Like I was doing the music for the VR video games. You know, there was something. What was that called?
It's Catapalo VR.
Yes, Catapalo VR. Yeah.
Dr. McLean was doing that.
Yep. And that was great. Just doing some odds and end music for it. It was really cool.
And it was really cool. It was very cinematic and fit the game style.
Yeah. Thank you. For my first time.
It was really cool because like I had never witnessed that before. I mean, we have our little toys that you see here, and very similar to what you were describing. We just like having fun with it. We like messing around, figuring it out. But that was one of the first times where I was like, whoa, you could do a lot with this. You can really go with it. And it was really interesting to see that process in action.
Right. Yeah. So Anyone needs some VR music here?
Well, I mean,
Destination in Olean.
and I don't want to sell you short either, because like I remember being the in between at times, and it was, I want this emotion conveyed at this time, and you could just make that happen. And that is pretty remarkable. Yeah.
What is the sound of death?
What was it? It was like, I want an ending noise, or
Yeah,
like,
it was like an
no,
end
it was
noise.
death sound. Yeah.
Yeah,
I want a death
noise.
sound, but for kids, so it's like not.
Yeah,
like,
it's like when it comes up and said you died or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just something to yeah. I'm proud of that one too.
But they're all good.
My death sound was great.
and I mean, for any of us nerds out there who love playing games, is sometimes you forget how much work goes into every
All
little
the
piece
audio.
of it. And
Yep.
And I had to put my 2 cents in always.
oh yeah, your flute song.
I did. I wrote 2 flute numbers for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what instruments do you play?
I play the flute and the bass, and I can play the guitar and the mandolin. Whatever. Bits and pieces of everything.
And
What?
you also do a lot of painting.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, that's right. And I'm wondering if you can talk to us a little bit about the painting that you do and what you're trying to do with some of that.
I do meditative painting, which is a little bit different than, going to the pub and everybody painting the same thing. It is starting with a canvas and, getting into a meditative state. I set the mood, I ring the bell, light the incense, and I write my intentions with color on the canvas first. It could be symbols or names or birthdays or whatever I'm aspiring for. I'll write it on there. So the first part of the painting is just a big jumble of color and letters, not neat, on top of each other. And it kind of gets me in the zone. And then there's a lot of finger painting involved, smearing the colors, and then I'll paint something over top of it. So I did one just recently. I have a YouTube channel for that. And what I was painting is a lotus. It's on a long, skinny canvas, like to hang over your door. So it's a lotus, and underneath, in Sanskrit, it's written this mantra, I am that, so hum. And I said to Dylan, go write me a mantra. Go write some music.
Snap your fingers.
And he's just so game for like music.
And I've heard it. It's really good.
It's so cool.
It is like
He ran up and he's just chanting and layering and so yeah, you'll have to check that out on my YouTube channel.
which
Which is?
I believe it is Colleen Conley Gaynor. Yeah, that's what it is.
We'll put a link in the
yeah,
description.
we'll put a link. Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think selling it a little short because it is very, very personal as someone who's gone to a couple of the meditative paintings now.
So it's an activity you do, not to interrupt. Okay.
I do it myself and I teach it, and Brian partakes a lot.
Yeah, I partake in it.
I love it. If people can get into it, they're welcome.
Is it just a weekly thing?
I mean, we do it quite often.
Well, I mean, the woman who came in today was asking about it. The one who came in for piano lessons. She was like, "Wow, I didn't know they did painting too. I'd love to sign up for that." And
Yeah.
it's something that kind of is very ad hoc.
And now I'm running a 2-part class right now in Cuba at the Cuba Library. So it's a little bit harder in a library situation to keep everybody
Focused.
Yeah, everybody's kind of chatting. And
What are you having for
want-
dinner tonight?
Meditate.
This is a spiritual journey.
No, but it's fun. They still love it.
Well, and you make it very accessible for people. So someone like myself who is coming into it completely blind, she made it very accessible for me to figure out how to interact with this more spiritual journey that we're on, and to put myself onto canvas, which was something I was very hesitant to do initially, but she eventually talked me into it. And I know that you are always very, very welcoming to people who are just having even a modicum of interest, to pull them in and to have them engage in meaningful ways. And I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. I say, like, after the first session, it really is almost like getting high. Well, there's a lot of people just kind of drooling and...
Well, and you see with how many people come back.
And how many people in the first session cry. There's lots of emotion that comes out that people are kind of letting go when they're doing that too, and slowing down and thinking about what they're grateful for. But I went to a 7-month training to get certified to teach this too in the last year. And I got this circle of friends now that we meet every couple weeks, and they're in Australia and New Zealand and Colorado and Oregon and Washington State, and it's great. And I'm going to paint with them in the next month. I'm going up to Oregon. My daughter's bringing me out, and I'm going to paint with those ladies there and meet them in person. So
That's awesome. I had no idea you were expanding the shop in that way.
yeah, so
So
got to come and try it.
I guess I will, yeah. You have to watch me cry.
They're on the
Yeah.
docket. No more excuses.
Kleenex in every corner.
Well, I mean, there is a lot going on in this building, and not to mention that we, as a business, technically rent from you on the 3rd floor. But on the 2nd floor, you have your School of Music. You want to share a little bit? Actually, before I let you share a little bit, because Colleen forced me into teaching piano, and by that I mean asked me every possible time she saw me to pick up some piano lessons, and now I have almost 6 students, which is honestly really nice. They're all pretty incredible people. But talk to us a little bit about the School of Music. How did that come to be, and where do you want to go with it?
Well, it's, like I said earlier, our idea is that we want to help other people. We want to share music. We love music. Certainly, how do we share it? We have a school for people. So we have tons of friends that are musicians. Not necessarily are they good teachers. They could be the greatest musician in the world. It does take the right headspace to teach. And, we've gone through a few in and out, and but I think we have we
got a pretty good crew now.
Yeah.
And we have an array of people from different styles, and especially and that's the thing is some of our better teachers aren't the most flashy players, they're not the ones sweep picking and doing crazy stuff like that. They're playing basic chords, but that's what a lot of people need at the beginning more than anything, because I know a lot of those people that teach and they're very classically trained, or just they can't teach down to that level of beginning playing, because it is just they haven't seen that so long.
It's really hard once you've been playing for
so long. How do you say just put your fingers there? Why is that so hard?
Just do it.
Just do the thing. What do you mean? You put your finger right here.
What do you mean you can't transpose this music?
How long did I spend getting the arch in my finger just right so that it's not muting anything, and developing the strength and the dexterity to hold them all down and move. But it's all
position
that stuff that
and everything. Just
totally for.
And
totally
that stuff
leaves.
is more important, I think, for the first time lesson taker. Is just because I think it's better to get a crash course real quick on chords and get them playing something as quickly as possible. Get them playing one of their favorite songs, something.
Yeah.
In 1 week.
If you want a sweet pick, start here.
We're not going to go there yet. I know you want to play some Metallica, but let's move back a couple.
Let's start with Mary Had a Little.
Yeah. But even if it's Wagon Wheel, stuff like that just is super simple, and if they can do it, there's such a good feeling about finishing a song. There's so many people that can play I can play guitar, and they play their one riff, and they're like, look, that's great. But if there's a whole different feeling to getting through 3.5 minutes of something and finishing it right, and then you're like, okay, this makes me feel good. you know, like that needs to be taught more than anything, I think, like quickly. So I think we have just a couple different ways, I think, which stands out with us. It's nothing's really too by the book, unless it needs to be, you know.
Yeah, unless they're asking for it.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
What instruments do you guys have in your school of music?
Guitar, bass, violin, cello. We got piano. We got flute,
sax, drums, mandolin,
ukulele.
Yeah.
Are you doing voice anymore, or is that
Right now it's on hiatus. We're
Right now
trying
it's
to
on
find
hiatus.
somebody.
Okay.
Yeah. Our vocal teacher just left.
Mm.
Or well, she just is doing. She's teaching at school now, so she can't do it here. But
how dare she get a job?
jerk.
Well, we are starting. We have some like small group classes too. Like 4 weeks or 5 weeks of different classes, and we have done the songwriters class, which is just amazing. I mean, I took it, and everybody that takes it it's really valuable if you're a musician to take that. I mean, Paul Sathis really helps.
Especially if you're thinking about writing songs.
Well, that's the difference. You can be a musician, but if you have that focus on like, how do I write a song, or you don't know how to get there, there's tangible things you need to learn. That like how I was saying, at a young age, we learned how to put a song together the most basic way. You know, there's like first chorus, bridge, 2 choruses, we're out. Like cool. Like that's the most simplistic way you can start. That's really it.
You were lucky because you were in that environment of we're all playing, we're all equally into this, we're all just as invested in, throw it to the wall and see what sticks.
Yep. You definitely need. It helps. That's what I'm saying. It helps to have someone on your wavelength, even if they're not as good as you or they're better than you. Like you got it. When you start learning how to put songs together, there's a whole different process than just learning a song.
And you can't let your ego get in the way of that. It's like there's so much.
You play something and you're like, oh, this is cool, and then your friend's like, I fucking hate that. What do you? I'm quit the band. Like, sometimes you just got to give up. And that's okay. Like it's all.
Yeah, knowing when to pivot.
Yep. Well, maybe try this.
Yeah. I've always thought it's like, being in a band is like, okay, we all have a certain amount of ego because we all want to play music in front of people and make it sound really good and be cool and bitching.
Yep.
And you kind of have to learn how to check enough of that at the door to go, okay, I'm not going to let anything get me too out of shape. I'm going to focus on what's going to make the song the best.
Mm-hmm. And
that's
kind
of
Paul
the
does
big,
a really good job of that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. So Colleen's had a lesson with him. Did you ever work with him before, Paul?
Paul Sathis?
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever worked with him in like a lesson capacity, but I've spent plenty of time talking to Paul, and
he's
got a lot
simply
of wisdom.
Incredible. I was lucky. I asked him to do a one-on-one, and he sat down with me, and I felt like the world had been peeled and I can now see everything.
Yeah,
like
the musical way.
Yeah, he has a way of just sitting you down and being like, you're gonna know everything at the end of this hour. So buckle up, and he just goes. He's so good at that.
Yeah, you can either take it as harsh or know that it's helping.
Yeah,
because he can be.
Well, yeah, I mean,
be graded, but he's.
It is just coming at you like fact after fact after fact, but he does a great job of tying it together. And I unfortunately never took the music writing class, but just working with him individually, I know he's like super fast about things. But if you get it and it clicks, he will like take you to the stars.
Yeah. So what we're starting here in the fall is he's going to offer private composition lesson. So you can sign up for 4 weeks, and it doesn't have to be in a small group. It can be just a private. And I mean,
work on your composition.
You're going to come out with a great product. But I think about people like you. I hate to blow your head up, but you're a great musician. You're very skilled, but you're always learning still. You're always learning something on the computer or from somebody else. Like there's always room for growing.
That's the best part about music.
Yep.
There's no ceiling.
Yeah.
Right.
infinite growth.
How about a floor? Do you guys have an expectation from your participants when they come in and start your classes? Like, do they already know how to do B flat scale on a piano?
There's a couple, like we do beginners levels and intermediate levels of certain like group lessons and stuff like that. If we're we've had, beginners guitar group lessons that, if you don't know anything, that's when you want to come. Because I feel like we've tried guitar lesson groups before, and it was too vague.
Yeah.
And we had all walks of life of different capacity, and that didn't work out. So
Then you're stuck.
We needed to switch
people
that
always
up.
learn at different rates. And
Right, exactly.
It can be very difficult to do a group lesson like that.
But then it's just even hard to say what's intermediate. Is that just chords? Is that you have your scales down? Can you know that stuff but can't strum? Can you strum but don't know that stuff? There's so many.
Yeah.
Are your fingers stretched enough?
Yeah. Well, like you were saying, with an infinite ceiling, it's kind of hard to gauge which pieces go in which order.
Well, so you just do it. You just do the classes, and our teachers are really great at making do with what they, whoever's at wherever in their playability.
Yeah, they
Well, I mean,
write the specific curriculum for the kid or the person that's taking it. It's all tailored.
Tailored, yes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
As a teacher who's talked with a lot of the teachers, so many of them are I'm always impressed by how many people are like, we have each lesson super tailored to this individual kid that we're working with or adult that we're working with. And they really make it work for those
Scott's
people.
like that too. We should say something about Scott.
So Scott Warner, who teaches here, he's got, and I think you've done a podcast with him.
Yep.
Famous guest of the show.
Yeah, so he just started this week. He's got a group lesson for veterans we're offering, and it is free to them as a veteran. So he's really good at that. And what's the other thing? He's doing Grateful Dead jamming, which I plan on sitting in on. So.
Well, let's target in on the word free there, because not that I'm trying to advertise it a lot, but you do give away a lot for people in the community.
Yeah, we get yelled at about it.
Yeah, you get yelled at by us about it.
Particularly.
But I do want to bring a special note to that, because you have been known at times to just give instruments to people if they, for whatever reason, can't afford one. And
She just did that today.
You did that today?
With my own bass.
She gave her bass to someone. Some girl came in.
So for everyone paying attention at home, these people are struggling financially, which is why we have an event coming up, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Yeah. But they're still super willing to help out in any way they can, which at times is even just giving away instruments that can cost up to hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't give it away, but
I'm going to get it back.
Well, yeah. There's a girl came in today. Actually, she's getting her bass fixed, and she said she's got a gig. She's got
to play in church
on Sunday or something.
And they're not going to have a bass, and so I gave her my bass to use this weekend, but I don't know her or anything.
So let's just hope.
But
we
I've
get
got
that
her
back.
bass, though.
Have to come back.
And so Steve and I were talking about it earlier, and Noah was joining. Is Beat City is the heart and the hub of our musical infrastructure for our local region,
not just music. I mean, creativity
and art in general. Yeah. And it's
I'd
because
so
of your willingness to open your hearts to people and to trust and to be there and to help nurture and foster their growth and their creative journey wherever that takes them, whether that be through the musics or the art, and you make it all available and you make it very accessible. And I know you guys are being very humble in the way that you're talking about things, but you do a lot for this community and you make a lot available to people who would never have it otherwise. And as a teacher, I am asking that they charge more from me to their students, because they're so good at taking the bare minimum to survive and to give as much as they possibly can to the people around them. And I think that's really important to stress that message, because you guys are not doing that right now.
I know.
It's just,
well, I mean, being humble is a good thing. It is.
We're not good business people.
Yeah.
Like
it backfires on us constantly.
Yeah.
It's like, Yeah. I don't know. Like we're in as bad of a way as a lot of people that come into the shop. So like,
Get it. Yeah.
it's all right.
Well, I mean,
it's just money.
You're the kind of place where people just show up all the time. Like, we're calling it cheers.
Cheers.
Oh,
Yeah, we're saying it's like
Musicians
cheers.
every
Because people are just coming in the door all the time. They'll just sit and chat, and then some other people come in and sit and chat, and then like some people will walk away, other people will come in, and it's this comic. I don't want to say it's a comedy, but there's always people coming in. There's always people coming by to talk about
More of a
something.
dramedy, you know.
Dramedy, yeah.
They have to bitch about something if they're coming in.
Yeah, it was so funny. I remember one time there's just like a ton of people in for lunch, all musicians sitting around the table, and I mentioned that my cat had a weird thing going on with it, and I needed to take it to the vet, who happens to be your dad. My vet was your dad. Retired. And so, but they are just talking about my cat back there for about a half an hour, and they got it all diagnosed. They knew what it was. So I went to your dad and said, well, I already know what the diagnosis is. And
All my musicians friends.
yeah, they figured it out. And your dad's like, wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's community. It is again a focal spot that is a third place that we are in desperate need of in these areas. I imagine a number of people out there listening are they don't know what to do with their spare time. There's spare time in the afternoon. They want to go out, be social, and save for going to a bar. There really aren't that many options, especially in our local region here. But you guys create that, you provide that, and you give so many opportunities. I want to jump in a little bit on some of the group activities that you guys were talking about, because I recently attended the Mandolin Mondays, as we were calling it, and that was so much fun. There were a bunch of totally random people from all different parts of life, and they just joined together to pluck on a mandolin in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Or in the afternoon.
And I do like push you in the deep end. I make everybody sing too.
Yeah, okay. I had an abundance of liquid courage whenever I went to that class in particular.
But I know, we are kind of about pushing people in the deep end. Come on and perform.
Yeah.
We got something going on. You can come out and play something, whatever. But in the Mando Monday, I said, all right, whatever song it was, knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door, whatever. Everybody's going to take a verse. And they're like, oh, no, I can't sing. But we started playing it, and you could see them kind of like getting psyched up because it was coming around to their turn then. And they would do it, and there was such a satisfaction when they did it, finally sang and play their mandolin at the same time.
There's a lot of growth that comes from getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Well, it's an artistic curse.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of people, music or art or anything like that is you don't want to show it. A lot of musicians don't want to do that's.
We're our own worst enemy because anything that we create is never good enough. It's not what
in
we
your own
see
head.
in our
It's not
head
what you
or
hear in your head. Yeah. Yep. And everyone fights that. We all do. I do. You do.
And
everyone.
And the solution really is that simple. Just send it.
You have to do it.
Just have to do it.
You have to try.
Right or wrong, play it strong.
Yep. And it just gets easier every time. That's all.
Because I always say we could all be dead tomorrow. So why are we
I know,
hesitating?
but I could be dead and embarrassed.
Right.
No, I'm thinking back, like the first time I did a solo in front of my entire school. I'm a drum player, so as I'm standing at the mic, I'm playing the bass on my left leg the whole time, just thumping my foot, and they can hear it in the mic through my throat because of how much I'm thumping with my nervousness.
Yeah.
So I get it. That would be terrifying for me too at Mandolin Mondays. But I completely agree. Once you kind of push artists outside of their comfort zone, make them a little embarrassed, and
I've
realize
noticed that it's especially harder when you didn't have like what I had with friends in the beginning. You can share the embarrassment.
Yeah.
So there's it's hard to start as a solo, say acoustic player as a kid. That I didn't play out until I was 23 or something like that, 22 by myself. Yeah. I played in hundreds of shows before that, all with bands, because I was too nervous to play by myself.
I still haven't done any gigs by myself.
It's hard.
For
You've
that
done a
exact
couple,
reason.
but not full gigs.
But not full gigs, no.
Yeah.
Like I might play
You'll
a
do a
couple
few
little
things.
sets, but
Yeah.
as far as going out and like actually booking like a 3-hour gig just myself, I've never done it because for me personally,
hard,
it's
man.
that confidence
Super
thing. It's
hard.
like, you know,
I don't like playing my own originals by myself because I can't play them good enough because I shake too much. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like, because like I can play with everyone as good as ever if I'm sharing the load, but like it's something to do, you know, it's just my natural nerves.
especially if they're songs that you've written, there could be a piece
Yeah.
of it's like you're bearing your soul.
Exactly. And
It's like deeply, deeply personal.
yeah.
You know, and it's like that's tough to do. That vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it is ultimately, is you're getting up there and you're being vulnerable.
Like
if you
this
make
is
one
what
mistake,
I created. I
Yeah.
hope you like it.
And now there's a baby crying in the audience.
Right, yeah, and like, what if you get no claps?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
It's just a silent
it
part.
is. It is hard. It's hard.
And then the other side is once you've done enough gigs and you've played enough songs where nobody claps at the end, you're like, who cares?
Who gives a shit? Yeah. It really, you just have to get to that point where it's like because you have to put yourself in the audience shoes too, and like you were there, you were watching someone, you don't care. You're like, it's not that you don't care, but you're just watching. You're like, you don't.
Yeah,
if someone
that was-
screws up,
yeah.
or something,
You don't
or
even
hits a
remember.
flat note, you're not really that concerned.
Yeah.
Most people can't hear a flat note, so like you know, it's you have to. It's a whole different mindset to put yourself into, but still affects me.
Yeah, I
Still
mean,
affects me.
you know, anytime I get up to play in front of people, I've got butterflies in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, it's a lot better, you know, after a song or two, they're totally gone.
But that
But
first song
that
is
first
always,
song is always like, oh, it's here. It's time to start playing.
and it's got to be a banger too. You can't start bad.
No, you can't.
You got to start good, and you can't. Yeah, that's.
Pressure's on.
Why can't I just be a paralegal or something?
Would have been so
Why
much
couldn't I just
simpler.
sling deli meat?
Oh, yeah.
Did it for years.
So I guess following that train of thought, then I'm sure there are a few people listening to this who are gonna have dreamed about being on a stage or performing in front of even a small group of friends, like you've talked about, but they're not willing to pull the trigger, either because they're too scared, because they don't think they have the talent, because they think they'll make people miserable.
Yep.
What advice would you to all of you? I'm sure you've all performed now.
Exactly what I said.
That-
Share the load.
Yeah.
It really it's terrifying to be up there alone. If you don't want to, find someone who will go with you. That's seriously like, even if they're playing a shaker or a, you know,
Get the tambourine.
Bring mom on the tambourine. Yeah.
whatever. Like that helped me. That's all I can say is because that's the only thing that ever helped me. Is try to, and honestly, like to me, it was always the smaller the audience, the harder it was.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm playing to 10 people or 110 people,
You can look at 10 people in the
you
eye.
can look and see exactly what they think of you. Every one of them. Like, oh, he looks bored. He's okay. He's all right. Like, oh, he's turned around. Like, but 100
especially if you're in a
people
bar where
are
it's
doing whatever they're doing. They're talking to each other. There's, you know, so that makes it so much better. Is more people. I don't know why. Do you feel that way with more people or less?
No, I don't feel nervous at all. I'm
Well,
a
I know.
strange person.
Was it always that way, even when you were younger?
I was, sorry, I just had to take a Tums.
Sorry.
there.
It's okay.
I am not stage fright, and I'm not mic shy or anything.
Yeah.
It's because I was the husky pup
Right.
in high school. Honest to God, that got rid of all my stage fright.
Wow.
I mean, there was like 1,200 people in Olean High School when I was in it, and I had to go up there on the mic and scream and cheer and dance, and I'm just not
Any
afraid.
public shame would be, you know, nothing in
Got it out of the way young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I guess my advice would be let yourself sink into the music. I know, like you were talking in that first song. I've found that if I'm still thinking about things as I'm playing music, then I'll
comes out in
inevitably put it into the music in
Right.
some way.
Yep.
But if you just let it all turn off and sink into the music, like the first time that I've done a show in a long time in front of live people, was with Kathy and you guys over at
The showcase.
Yeah, the showcase, and it was one of the first times that I allowed myself to just flow with the music, and it really made a difference because before I knew it, the song was over, and I didn't even remember playing most of it. It was just like I was just there, driving.
I'm a big advocate also of closing my eyes. I probably 70-80% of the time I'm playing, my eyes are closed. When I'm singing, it just makes me focus more. I'm not looking at stuff that's going on in the room to distract me. If I really need to pay attention, my eyes are closed. And I mean, I know some people like probably can't play and close their eyes at the same time. I know a lot of people can't, they have to watch what they're doing. I mean, you'll get to a point playing guitar if you do it for long enough, you don't have to look at it. But I think that also helps my nerves. Like if I'm getting, like I've been having panic attacks the last 2 years on stage. That's been a new thing. So like that's helps me deal with that a little bit more. You just gotta zen it out, wait for it to pass. That's all you can really do. But that's not helping anyone, I don't think. Well, you have panic attacks and you want to, run off the stage.
I can imagine it's nice to know for people who watch you. They're like, wow, this guy's really good. And to know that you still get nervous on stage and you still have these feelings, it's a little nice for people join in and be like, okay, it's not just me.
Probably I never would have pegged you as somebody who would be anxious on stage just because of the way you carry yourself, because you don't seem like you're anxious. You seem like you're confident. You know what you're playing, and you play it. And it really is like it comes and goes. Like it's like I can be totally fine for one gig, and then something is going on the next gig where I'm just having existential crisis, and I just like, what am I doing? I'm gonna, panic attacks. You don't know why they're there. It's totally senseless. It's not a rational thing.
I'm just sitting there pissed that I'm having it. That's all. So, I don't know. I think it's a hard thing to deal with, and I think a lot of musicians have it. You don't. You're perfect.
Some of us are blessed.
Star over here.
There's a lot of times where I'm like, come on, I want to sing one. And he's like, he could be really nervous and just say, no.
Oh my gosh. Well, before I was getting more comfortable with it, with those group setting, I'm usually sitting next to you and in Mando Mondays or something. And Colleen's like, Brian's going to sing. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Yeah. No way in hell am I singing. And you turn to me and you're like, Brian's singing. And I'm like, okay. Yep. How about you, Steve? What do you do?
I don't know. What the hell is my advice? It's not really any different. It's literally, find the people who are going to support you in some way and, keep those cards close to your vest, because when you run into some kind of trouble, whether that's being nervous on stage or you need some kind of support, those are the people who are going to be there to support you unabashedly, no matter how good or bad you are, or you might think you are. Surround yourself with a few people who will be there to support you, and you'll be okay.
I think maybe we should run a small group for that very thing. Stage fright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nervous about it, come and join it with other people who are nervous.
Yeah, we'll have
Come, let's be embarrassed together.
We're all terrified. Join us.
Yeah, honestly.
I do think it's a really good idea, because then everyone can share the load, like you were saying.
We could do it around Halloween and call it the House of Terror.
Yeah. You can do it as a masquerade. You can have a
wear something crazy.
Wear something stupid, and then you won't you'll be embarrassed by what you're wearing and not what you're doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Never let a little thing like total public humiliation come between you and a good time.
That's right. Absolutely.
But look at the people like in the store that have become friends that we didn't know before Mando Monday or the songwriting class, and they're such good friends now, and coming around and really rallying around Dylan and I right now in our time of need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's
awesome.
Talk about that a little bit more too, because that is in large part why we wanted to do this specific video with you guys. But it was to talk about how awesome you are, one, and two, why people should really help out So what do you need help with?
It's really
list.
you know
The main thing. How about that? The main thing. That you get, the roll comes out.
you know
My doctor said.
it's humiliating. It's hard to talk about. It was hard to put a public statement out there. Yeah, we jumped in the deep end with this building. We got this building. We pay ourselves a little shareholder distribution every week. It's peanuts. And we're making it by the skin of our teeth, and we love what we do. But then when the furnace goes, and this is not like your little home furnace, these are really big floors here.
Yeah.
And it's done. It's not going to be fixed anymore. It's been fixed as much as it can, and it's not working. Where do we come up with that money?
Yeah, $20,000 worth.
So we reluctantly.
Bottom line, we got,
That's the
we
bottom
got
line,
like
yeah.
a true quote, but we know it's going to be over that. It's just
We're trying to.
that's
Yeah.
It's like
That's
this is
something
this
just
is
to
what
say
this
that
is
we
bare
can put
minimum
out.
what we need to be able to do
Right.
anything at all.
yeah, yep.
So there's a fundraiser running right now, I think, right?
Yes. Yep. So we have a fundraiser. We're going to have a telethon on September 7th with lots of baskets, some big ticket baskets as well. I'm giving away 8 hours of studio time. Plus, Brian, you have what coming with that as well?
Yeah, it's a basic media package where someone can come in and they get their studio time. We'll take some photos while they're there, do an interview, something like this, probably a little smaller scale, with the band members. So it's a pretty good value wrapped up. It
Yep.
allows any band members who might be trying to create a band or have an established band build up a good repository of content that they can put out through social media, or if they want to use as cover art for an album or whatever they want to do with it.
Yep. So that's just one of the baskets. So we have
The big ticket of baskets.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. The one of the big tickets. The other one we have a Alvarez guitar, acoustic electric. That's the whole package is worth about $1,000. It's another one to get started. Comes with all the necessities that you would need to start playing guitar or keep going.
Michael Wintermantle.
We also have a Michael Wintermantle painting. That's
It's
worth a lot in itself.
Beautiful painting. I think it's $2,400. It's
Yeah.
valued
Yeah,
at.
Yep.
yeah, and yeah, he's amazing.
He's
and yeah,
incredible.
Also, 8 or 2 months worth of lessons, either anything between guitar or piano or
Songwriting. With
songwriting.
Paul, the guy we've been hyping up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then we're going to do a live stream all day with many musicians around the area that have graciously given us their time to play a few, about 45 minutes each. We'll be going all day, 10 to 6. There will be, the live stream will be inside, and we'll have some open mic type players outside of like overflow. There's a lot of people that got to us about playing. So we already have kind of a set list of people for the stream, but anyone that wanted to come down and play, we have an open mic set outside. So we'll have that going till probably 3 or so. And then we're going to have larger bands, like full bands across the street at Union Whiskey from 3 to 6. So yeah, it's just going to end just basket raffles all day.
And the most important thing, the
Flow.
The flow
the
shirt.
The flow shirts, right. How did I forget?
For the record, Flo is...
Flo is our shop
manager.
cat. She's our manager. Manager
She's
of
my
Beat City.
grandmother.
Yeah.
She's many things.
She's a very healthy cat, and she's always here, and she's always greeting to customers, and everybody loves her. And it's like, well, so many
Olean
people.
renown.
It's almost like people have never seen a cat before in their life. Oh my God. It's
Well, they've seen
so-
a cat, but they've never seen a cat in a music shop.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where we get them.
So we got the Go with the Flow shirts being printed right now, and we'll have them this weekend.
Yep, $25. All of it. Yep, that all goes just right towards our furnace. So
And this weekend now, we'll say I don't know if this will be out by then, but
Should be out by the 3rd.
yeah, no, we're having a benefit show this weekend. That's still in August, where we'll have the flow shirts.
So you would have had the benefit.
Yes, we would have had already. We made so much money.
It was so good.
Yeah, let's manifest this.
Yeah.
and now that we can cancel the benefit
Fundraiser, 'cause
because we made so much money this weekend.
No more baskets.
yeah. Please stop sending.
It's funny because like the baskets are starting to pile up right around this corner. I don't know if we have it on
being
camera,
stored in the
but-
studio. So
Yeah.
But it's hard to be on this end of the receiving.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not used to that. It feels funny, and I'm kind of
pseudo embarrassing.
I'm up and down emotionally. Had a rough morning. Brian walked in on, but there's other times when we're so lifted by everybody around us holding us up, and
It's just a lot.
For the people who aren't in the know, when Colleen came to us being the regulars that just kind of show up at Beat City, even though we aren't cool and don't always buy things, we just kind of show up.
for lunch.
For lunch.
Yeah.
We come into mooch off
Take
of
our
them.
coffee and run. You know who you are.
So there was just a day where Colleen gathered us together, the people who show up frequently, and she sat us down. She had a pretty sour look on her face, and she's like, "Hey, I think we might have to close Beat City down." And everyone was like, what are you talking about? You can't close this place. It's my favorite lunch spot. And
Goes Beef and Barrel, the Bistro, and then Beat City.
Music. So the first thing almost everyone said was, what can we do to help? How can we help make this happen? Because it's so much more than a music store here. It's a family, it's a community, and it goes deep. We can already see that with just how many people have volunteered to play music alone, to the point where we're almost at an overflow point, if not already past it. And within a couple of days, everyone had responsibilities assigned to themselves. There are now regularly scheduled meetings where we're planning out everything that needs to happen, how it's going to happen, and it's all volunteer based.
Yes.
And all of these people out of the goodness of their hearts join together to reciprocate how much you give to everyone else. And special call out to Scott Warner, who's running the events for the activity for the day on
The music.
Running the music.
Yep. And then Nettie, what's Nettie's last name?
White.
Nettie White is she's going to be running
She'll be doing the baskets.
the small basket raffle. Big basket raffle is kind of just
That's kind of just going now.
Yeah, that's kind of just an ongoing thing.
Yeah, till the end of the day. But we still have more to announce, obviously, and more are coming in. So it's like we're trying to figure out. We're gonna have a lot of large baskets apparently.
And so Paul, that we've been talking about, is also dedicating a lot of time to this.
Oh yeah.
And
Steve Spry.
yep, Steve
Steve
Spry. He's going to be the MC. He's also incredible, and I don't want to forget anyone because there are a lot of really awesome people that are part of this, and sometimes it's a revolving door. Yeah. I think that
John Wolfgang helped a lot.
Yeah, John Wolfgang.
Just anyone that's come they know who they are. There's been so many people in and out helping us over the last couple months. Yeah, it's just we're grateful and overwhelmed, and
We're feeling some hope now when we weren't feeling hope
we were pretty
6
low.
weeks ago,
Well, in 5-ish weeks, when the fundraiser's a success and your boiler's going to be taken care of, what's the next couple of years going to look like as we begin to wrap up here? What are your hopes and dreams for Beat City?
We need to get the building sustaining itself. We're not looking to make $1 million, but it has to pay for itself. So we have to get the third floor finished, all the rooms finished and rentable. Like Brian rents one up there. They're rentable for a very reasonable price per month.
far less than almost anything on
and
Main Street.
Office. It could be an office. It could be an art studio, a music studio. Scott's using it for a teaching music teaching studio. Yeah, we have to get the place sustainable.
Yeah, we're
And
just
stop.
trying to get to the point where hopefully lessons are going to be busy enough. The lessons, the studio, and the rentable to where it pays for the building, and everything retail will just be
Extra.
on top, and we can get that'll help us get better brands. You know, we've been pinned down to smaller brands for a long time because if people know how music distribution works with like guitars and stuff, the big brands make it extremely hard for the mom and pop type shops to get, you know, Gibsons and Fenders and all that because of their minimum orders and all that per month. And we just don't sell that many guitars around here. It's just not going to happen in Olean. So, but hopefully we can get a few more hookups like that, and it'll just ease us, you know, a little bit more. And maybe we can make some money too. We can make some more money up. Pay ourselves.
What a concept.
Yeah, we just we had our taxes for this year put on an extension. We didn't get them filed on time, so we got the extension for them. We just got them done today, and it's like, okay. We don't have to pay a lot, but we still have to pay something. It's like, oh, okay.
Car just blew up. I don't need this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's worth noting that, Colleen, you run a cat shelter, an unofficial cat shelter out of this too. So a lot of the money you're taking home is immediately going to take care of animals as well.
Yeah,
so it's not like this money is just going into your pocket at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like you're still putting goodwill forward.
Oh, absolutely. I got I'm down to like 20 cats right now at home. And and we have Flo here.
Mm.
Yeah. Again, people help me too.
Yeah.
Well, any final thoughts from you, Steve? Because you've been quiet for a minute. This is usually the part where he says like a good 5 minutes of something very thoughtful.
I mean, what do I have thoughtful to say? I love you guys a lot. You've been there for me through some tough stuff. You know, Connie, you've been a part of my family since before I was born even. So, you know, this goes back further than even I do. You know, I think that you guys you've got something here that really is like kind of an oddity. I wouldn't think that in a small shithole place like Olean, New York, there would be not just a music shop, but a space that, you know, as Brian was kind of saying earlier, that is much more than just a shop. It's much more than just a place you can come and get a lesson or buy strings. It's a place where you can find a sense of community, a sense of maybe belonging and understanding. You can connect with like-minded people. You could just be a little fucking weird, and it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in a place like this, that's worth more than anything as far as I'm concerned. I mean, what would we really have if we didn't have this? Where would the people who are here go if we didn't have it? They wouldn't have it. There would be no space for any of this creativity, I don't think. Not that there wouldn't be any space for it, but it would be different. It would be constrained. It would have a hard time just breathing and existing. And that's what's so wonderful about this place, is that it can just, you know, it's a place where it can breathe and exist, and you can just breathe and exist and be like, yeah, okay, this is a good place with good people who genuinely care, who genuinely want to do the right thing. It's not something you see anywhere.
I appreciate that. I love you.
I love you
Love
too.
you too, buddy. Thank you for all the support over the years.
Please, someone tell me that I made the right decision for our friend. Please, someone tell me it's okay. Please, someone help me to forget. I placed that bullet in head. This world was just not made for him. Take back that goddamn decision. Our dreams are distant as the dead. And so it seems that I'm alone, with nothing left to be but callous and empty. Trust me that I have lived a life with more toil than delight. But this is what breaks me. I doubt my feet will ever move, my lungs will ever breathe. The air is too heavy. Like you, I travel down the stream, but what's it even mean if the current won't take me? Please someone tell me that I've made the right decision for a friend. Please someone tell me it's okay. Please someone help me to forget. I placed that bullet in his head. This world was just not made for him. Take back that goddamn decision. Our dreams are distant as the dead. Be so strong. You were my pillar in my right arm, but now you're dead and gone. I'm more like half a man and I'll go half as far. And I'm sure if you were here today, you'd say you're just the bones and I'm the brains. Yes, I'm the brains, but just the brains. You are the spirit and the strength. You are the rock, you are the rope. You were the light, you were the hope. I'll always miss sweet innocence and all the childlike ignorance. We had a dream that we could share, and now that's all ashes in the air.